All right. Good morning, students. I hope you are able to hear me. If you are able to hear me, please press yes. All right. I think I am audible. Thank you, Rajnandan. Yeah. So you can go through this. Apologies for the delay. There was some technical issues, like my internet got disconnected. Something like I also don't know exactly what was the problem. Some technical issue. Good morning, Ganesh. Morning, Pratish. Morning, Namrata. Yes. So actually, I had logged in way back, 8:50 something only. It automatically got disconnected. Zoom got crashed out some. So because of that, yeah, yeah, everything is fine now. Yeah, so you can go through this. We'll come back to this in the end of the class, most likely, right? Morning, Abhishek. So there was some confusion with some people that today's class was at 9 a.m. So let me clarify it again. Your class, extra class of 15 minutes, problem solving class will start from coordination compounds, because DA block is a theoretical chapter. You don't need so much of problem solving. You basically need more of recall, right? Textbook recall. So from coordination, we need more problem solving. We'll do it from coordination compounds. That's what I told last class also, right? Yes. Good morning, Chandan. Morning, Kirti. Morning, Danush. All right. So let's start without much delay, right? So can anybody tell me what did we study in last class? Same time, Pranav. We will end the class at same time. Can anybody tell me what did we study in last class? Anyone here who can summarize? We had studied two to three things. We had seen preparation of dichromate. I told you it will come for 3 marks in PU as well as CBSE exam. Both exams you'll get it for 3 marks, right? And then we had seen the effect of pH. No, Vishal from Wednesday most likely. So effect of pH on dichromate. Then we had seen effect of heating on dichromate. Then we had seen, yes, Saksha. Then we had seen what? We had basically seen oxidizing property of dichromate, right? And I told you dichromate acts as good oxidizing agent in which medium? Acidic or basic? It acts as good oxidizing agent in which medium? Acidic or basic? Very good. Acidic, not basic. I told you the reason also, not why basic. Okay? All right. So yeah, I hope you have noted it down. We'll come back to this. So let's start with a recall test. Yeah. So you can see here in the dichromate ion, it's a perfect JEE Mains or NEET type question. In a dichromate ion, which of the following statement is true? For the dichromate ion, which of the following statement is true? Yes? In the dichromate ion, which of the following statements? Four CRO bonds are equivalent, 6 CRO bonds are equivalent, all CRO bonds are equivalent, all CRO bonds are not equivalent. So you can choose it wisely, carefully, and I hope you know the concept behind it. Even in case you don't know, there is nothing to worry, we'll discuss it here. All right. So let's end it on a count of 3. If you haven't voted, please vote fast. We are ending it on a count of 3, 2, 1 now. So if you ask me the level of the question, I would say you can see the results as well. Right? Most of you voted A. It's in perfect decreasing order, A, B, C, D. Right? So if you ask me the level of the question, I would say it is JEE Mains. Right? Just a minute. One minute, students. Give me 1 minute. Yes, we are fine now. My screen was getting stuck, Pranav. Still, it is not coming. Yes. My screen got stuck, Pranav. Yeah. So, if you ask me the level of the question, I would say it is a JEE Mains / NEET. In fact, it can be asked in your CET exam also. To be honest with you, CET exam mein nowadays questions which are asked are very good questions, right? Now, if you come to this dichromate ion, most of you answered basically A. Let us see the structure of dichromate again. CrO minus O, Cr, double bond O, double bond O. Let us keep this also as double bond only, right? Double bond O. There is O minus here, O minus here. So you see one thing carefully, this O minus is in resonance with this double bond, with this double bond also. Similarly, this O minus is in resonance with this double bond and with this double bond also. So you can write the overall structure as, you can say, due to resonance, this double bond is delocalized, right? But this double bond, this CrO bond is not participating in resonance. So this is the overall structure, right? So basically, which double bonds are involved in resonance? We can say, which double bonds are involved in resonance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 CrO bonds are involved in resonance. And we know due to resonance, the bond lengths and bonds become identical, right? Therefore, 6 CrO bonds are identical. 6 CrO bonds are identical. In fact, if I give you the values, it is just like your banana bond or bridge bond in B2H6. This bond is approximately 179 picometer. The value varies. Some books give it 190 picometer also. And this CrO bond is approximately 163 picometer. Right? So inorganically, you have to be very careful. They do ask factual questions. They do ask database questions, right? So it's a perfect question for all these three exams, right? So I hope this question is clear. Is there any doubt in this question? Is there any doubt in this question? Very good. I'll tell you a few more things about dichromate. Then I'll come to this. I need to discuss few things regarding dichromate. If I come to the color of dichromate, right, or not just color, I think I have discussed the structure of dichromate somewhere here. Yeah. So I think we had discussed the structure of dichromate. We had told it was tetrahedral, but I told you the hybridization is sp3. It is not actually sp3, it is sd3. This is a unique hybridization which you have not studied so far. So the hybridization here also is sd3, right? So just do this correction. The hybridization here is sd3, right? So it is tetrahedral geometry, but the hybridization is sd3. How it is sd3? I will explain it in KMNO4 structure, right? Today, in KMNO4 structure today. Another important thing which we need to learn, which you already know, is, I think most of you know this, done these questions. Yeah. So most of you know this, right? So this is now for the, it is important for all the students, right? Boards, CET, everyone, because it is a part of your lab also. In lab, you can get a Viva questions on this. So please see this carefully. It is a chromyl test, chromyl chloride test. You have done it in lab. It is a test for Cl minus ion in lab. Okay? It is a confirmatory test, right? So how you perform this test? See carefully. You take KCl, that means you take your chloride ion. You pass your chloride ion from concentrated H2SO4. You put some drop of concentrated H2SO4 and you heat your organic compound in a test tube. Then your K will combine with HSO4 minus. So basically what will happen is H2SO4 will give you H plus and Cl minus, right? It will give you H plus and Cl minus and K plus and Cl minus. So HCl will be formed. So H2SO4 will give you H plus and HSO4 minus. And your K plus will combine with HSO4 minus to form KHS4. So first step is very easy. First step is an easy step. There is nothing to worry about. Now, potassium hydrogen sulfate is KHS4, right? Now, second step. Then you add some amount of dichromate to it. Orange color crystals of dichromate you add to it. When you add dichromate, you take a separate test tube. This is one test tube which you have used. Then you take a separate test tube. In that test tube, you add dichromate with concentrated sulfuric acid. So again, K plus will combine with HSO4 minus to form KHSO4, right? And chromium here, dichromate will get converted to chromium oxide. It is also called chromic anhydride, right? It is chromium oxide or chromic anhydride. You'll get a chromic anhydride, right? So this chromic anhydride basically, right, will, now you have taken one test tube in which this is, let's say, write it like this only. This is in test tube 1, this is in test tube 2. So in one test tube you have HCl, in second test tube you have CrO3. So you'll pass, and by the way, HCl formed is a gas usually, right, most of the time. So you'll pass that HCl gas through this chromic anhydride compound. So when you do that, when you pass chromic anhydride through HCl, you get chromyl chloride compound. You get CrO2Cl2. It is red violet, you can say, vapors. Red violet vapors will come out, right, with water, steam. Now this chromyl chloride, this is known as chromyl chloride. You can write it here. It is your chromyl chloride. You should know this test. It is very important for both CBSE and PU students. This chromyl chloride is passed through NaOH solution, right? When you pass it through NaOH solution, what do you get is Na2CrO4. Can anybody tell me what is Na2CrO4? We had studied it in last class. What is Na2CrO4? Anyone? What is Na2CrO4? If your memory can recall this compound. Yes, very good. It is sodium chromate. It is sodium chromate. Can anybody recall and tell me its color? Sodium chromate color? Chromite nahi, Jyoti. Sodium chromate. Very good, Pratish. It is yellow color. So, Meghna, it is yellow color. So sodium chromate is yellow color. Now the difference, you observe the difference carefully. The sodium chromate which you are getting here is a yellow. Let me correct it. It is a yellow solution. The solution will become yellow, right? Then what you do is, from this sodium chromate, you have Na plus and CrO4 2 minus. From this sodium chromate, you pass lead acetate solution. You pass lead acetate solution because CH3COH is acetic acid. Its anion is acetate ion. So it contains Pb2 plus ion. So Pb2 plus will combine with CrO4 2 minus to form PbCrO4. Now the difference here is, here you are getting a yellow PPT and here you are getting a yellow solution. Difference is there. Here you get a yellow solution, whole solution will become yellow, and here you will get a yellow color precipitate. PbCrO4 is insoluble, it will precipitate down. So if you get PbCrO4 precipitate, that means sodium chromate was formed. And if sodium chromate was formed, that means chromyl chloride was formed. If chromyl chloride was formed, that means you had HCl in solution. How you got HCl? From Cl minus ion. That is how you confirm that there is a Cl minus ion present in your salt, right? Is this test clear to everyone? Is this test clear, everyone? Right. Now, let us do one question on this. It's a last year's CET question. It is 2000, I guess, it is 2019 CET question. Just let me try to, sorry. Yeah, I'll try to read out the question for you. It's half shaked. A mixture of NaCl4 and K2CrO4 is heated with concentrated H2SO4. Deep red vapors are formed. Which of the following statement is false? Right? Vapors give a yellow solution with NaOH. Vapors contain CrO2, Cl2 only. Right? Vapors contain CrO2 and Cl2. Vapors, when passed into lead acetate in acidic, gives a yellow precipitate. When vapors were passed through lead acetate in acetic acid, gives a yellow precipitate. Right? So let me give you the options. I'll show you the screenshot also for the last test. For now, you can take this. Yes. So it's a CET 2019 question. Which of the following statement is false? All right. So you have another 10 seconds for this. So please vote fast if you haven't voted yet. So please vote fast if you have not voted yet. Yes. So let's end it on a count of 3, 2, 1, now. Yes. So this is a slightly controversial question, right? If you check this, this is a slightly controversial question. Why it is controversial? Because these options C and D appears a bit confusing. If you ask, obviously option A is correct, B is also correct. If you see the test carefully, you get chromyl chloride vapor, right? You don't get Cl2 gas here, right? You don't get Cl2 gas here. So what we say here is the option C and D both looks wrong, because vapors when passed into lead acetate in acetic acid gives a yellow precipitate. So first we should form sodium chromate, then you should get lead chromate. Then in such case, both the options are wrong. You can choose any of them, but C appears more wrong. So therefore we will go with C. Therefore we will go with C. Although both the options appear wrong. So in such cases, you can choose any of them and hope and challenge the question in the exam, right? So the correct answer mentioned here was C, right? So I hope it is clear. Chalo, let's move ahead with our today's topics. Yeah. So if you see quickly, what are the uses of dichromate? There are few uses of dichromate. We'll discuss them in brief. It is used in tanning of the leather, right? It's used in tanning of the leather. Basically, what is it the function of dichromate there? Dichromate makes cross links between collagen fibers of leather, right? So bio students will be knowing it better. The fibers are there, right? So function of dichromate is to make these cross link between the collagen fibers, right? So that is the function of your dichromate in tanning of leather, right? So the second main use is it is used as mordant in dyes, right? Some dyes we can use mordant in some dyes, sometimes we can't use, right? The dyes where you can use mordant are also known as mordant dyes. So what is mordant basically, right? It is a substance which you add to your cloth or to your dye. First of all, you should know what is the dyeing process. Like if you want to color a uncolored cloth, then you use a dyeing process, right? For example, if you see many pujas and all, right? Like it is the dhoti part is colored yellow for the puja, right? So they do it for, some people do it in haldi, turmeric, some people do it in dyes also, right? If it is not available, right? Because haldi is not uniform. So to convert your white dhoti into yellow one, we can use a yellow dye, right? So dyeing may you add mordant. What is the role of mordant? Mordant helps dyes to bind to fibers effectively. Bind to cloth, or you can say fibers effectively. So it basically acts as binder. So it basically acts as a binder. It will help in binding your dye with the cloth, right? So you can say, yeah, it's a kind of promoter which helps in the efficiency of the dye, right? Pritesh, that depends upon your Pujari ji or Pandit ji. If they don't recommend the ready-made yellow dhoti, then you can't, right? They will say they might have used this, they might have used that, they might have used this. So in that case, you can't, right? Chalo. Like third, we all of us know it is used for titration. It is used for titration to measure the concentration of oxalic acid. I think many of you would have done this titration in lab. Oxalic acid versus K2Cr2O7. Either this one or you should have done KMNO4. Either of these two you should have done with oxalic acid, right? Have you guys done this titration in lab? Oxalic acid versus dichromate or KMNO4? All right. So some people might have done HCl NaOH also, but some people who do more practicals might have done this also. These two titrations are basically in your syllabus. If you haven't done it, you'll do it in second year, right? If your college is reopened soon, right? Chalo. So these are the three main uses of potassium dichromate. Let's quickly go to our potassium permanganate. So manganese compound we are going to study is KMNO4, potassium permanganate, right? So basically, what is potassium permanganate? This is your KMNO4. This is your potassium permanganate. It occurs in these kind color crystals, violet color crystals. So what is KMNO4? It is a salt of manganic acid with KOH. It is just like your KCl is a salt of HCl and KOH. Similarly, KMNO4 is a salt of manganic acid and KMNO4. So obviously KOH. So obviously OH minus will combine with your H plus to form water, and you are left with KMNO4. So this is one of the way of preparation of your KMNO4 also. So this is one of the way also for preparing your KMNO4, right? So yes, Aditya, it will happen, right? So this is your definition of KMNO4. What is KMNO4? It is basically a salt of manganic acid with KOH, right? I hope it is clear. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? The definition of KMNO4. Very good. Now let us go towards preparation of KMNO4. Again, it's a 3-mark question. I'm telling you, fixed 3-mark question for both CBSE as well as PU. Both. It's a 3-mark question, right? Let us start with preparation of KMNO4. So for preparation of KMNO4, you use a ore of MnO2, which is also known as pyrolusite ore. It is also known as pyrolusite ore, right? By the way, just to tell you, KMNO4 is widely used in as an industrial chemical. So it's a very good there is a term called chemical economy, right? So countries' economy is also highly dependent upon chemicals, right? So KMNO4 is a very widely used chemicals in industries. First. Second important thing is, which is the largest producer of KMNO4, right? Not just KMNO4, I would say pyrolusite ore. So which country mines the pyrolusite ore to the maximum extent is South Africa. South Africa is the largest extractor or producer of pyrolusite ore. That is your pyrolusite ore is what? MnO2 is called pyrolusite ore, right? And what is the second most country? What do you think? What will be the second most producer country of pyrolusite ore? What do you think? It's the well-known friend of India. It's a well-known friend of India. You didn't understand. I was talking in a sarcastic tone. The second most biggest producer is China. Okay? The third most extractor of pyrolusite ore, this is the old data I'm talking about, Australia. Then where does the India lie? Where does the India lie? India lies down to 6th spot. India is the 6th largest extractor of pyrolusite ore. Not only that, it was before the lockdown, or you can say normal economic year, it was mentioned that by 2020, we will have to import pyrolusite from China or South Africa. So our pyrolusite ore extracts might not be sufficient to run our industries, so we might have to import pyrolusite ore by 2020, because I guess it is 0.92 metric tons production in India, right? So which is not sufficient for our population, our growing demand, right? Why it is used? I'll come to its uses in the end of the topic. It's very widely used chemical. So let me finish this, then I'll go to the use part. We can get pyrolusite by burning manganese in the air. But what about purity of it, Pranav? Can you use it for preparation of KMNO4? Will it be that useful? That's what you need to think about, Pranav. Now, let us come to the preparation part. So in preparation part, from pyrolusite ore, there are two ways of forming potassium manganate. Mind it, we are not talking about potassium permanganate. We are talking about potassium manganate. So you can say first step of preparation is preparation of potassium manganate. Potassium manganate. So if you were very good at chemistry in your school days, you must have studied there are two ions which exist. One is MnO4 ion, MnO4 minus, it is called manganate ion, and the other was MnO4 2 minus, which is known as manganate ion, and this is known as permanganate ion. So these were the ions we studied in our school. So MnO4 2 minus is known as manganate, and MnO4 minus is known as permanganate, right? Then also, Pranav, you will not get pure. Your efficiency will not be 100%. Now, how can you prepare K2MnO4 plus potassium manganate from MnO2? There are two ways. If you pass MnO2 from KOH solution, which is also known as caustic potash. What is caustic soda? What is caustic soda? Very good. Caustic soda is NaOH. Caustic potash is KOH. And you pass it through oxygen. When you pass pyrolusite ore from KOH and oxygen, you will get K2MnO4, potassium manganate plus water, right? The other method is, if you pass MnO2 from K2CO3 and KNO3, potassium carbonate and potassium nitrate solution, you will get again K2MnO4 plus nitrite, potassium nitrite plus carbon dioxide. Now, what is the color of potassium manganate? It is green color. Potassium manganate is green color compound, right? Now, what is the second step? So, second step is conversion of manganate to permanganate. So, conversion of manganate to permanganate, right? So, what do you use for it? So, K2MnO4 potassium manganate, if you pass it through water, it will get hydrolyzed and get converted into KMnO4, right? Plus MnO2 will be formed and KOH will also be formed. MnO2 is somewhere you will find it brown or black shade, right? Different sources report different color depending upon impurity. So this is your preparation of KMnO4. This is your preparation of KMnO4. Now, instead of water, you can also use some more reagents, like you can use Cl2, you can use ozone, right? You can use, you can use H2S, not H2S, H2S is a reducing agent. So you can use mainly these two, ozone and chlorine. These two are the two methods of preparation of KMnO4, right? Last two steps, there is only one step and two steps. Last two steps kya hota hai? So you should ask last two reactions. So last two reactions mean nothing, you pass your pyrolusite. I can't explain anything here, to be honest. It's a reaction which you have to by heart, right? So if you pass pyrolusite ore through potassium carbonate and potassium nitrate, you will get potassium manganate. So either you use this method or this method for preparation of potassium manganate. Both of these are first step, right, for preparation of potassium manganate. So you'll get potassium manganate plus carbon dioxide plus potassium nitrite. Second method is you pass your potassium manganate from water, hydrolyze it. your potassium magnate will get converted into potassium permanganate plus MnO2 plus QH. Instead of water, you can also use chlorine and ozone. So these are different ways of preparation of potassium magnate. Is that clear? Product MnO2 is used again for magnet production. The amount, first thing is the MnO2 which you get here will not be pure. It will not be pure, right? And the MnO2 which you use here is GR. Basically, it is a pure grade reagent. So after purification, yes, you can use this MnO2. After purification, yes, you can use this MnO2. But the problem will be KOH and NaOH will be difficult to separate. That will be one issue. So yeah, if you want, you can. For 3 marks, do we write all? For 3 marks, your question will be, I'll tell you the question. Question will be, discuss the preparation of KMnO4 with reaction. This will be the question. So what you have to write is, you have to write KMnO4 can be prepared from pyrolusite ore. KMnO4 is prepared from pyrolusite ore, one sentence. Then you write first step, preparation of potassium magnate, its reaction. Either you write this or you write this, one of these. Then second step, conversion of potassium magnate to potassium permanganate. Then you write this reaction, right? And if you want, you can explain it in words. Potassium magnate when treated with water gives this. That's all you need to do for your 3 marks. Important thing is reaction should not be wrong. If reactions are wrong, you will not get marks. Is preparation of KMnO4 from HNO4 is not cost effective? No. No, it is not. I'll come to this. Just give me what is brown and black. MnO2 ka color is either brown, either black. Some books will quote brown, some books will quote black. Right? All right. So now next thing is industrial or lab preparation of KMnO4. So how you prepare KMnO4 from lab? It's a memory based question. Of course, it's a memory based question. There's nothing. 80% in organic is memory based. 80%. Now, in laboratory method for KMnO4, right? At least group elements I'm talking about. Mn2 plus, when you pass it through peroxo disulfate ion. What is this peroxo disulfate ion? It is obtained from H2H2O8. Can anybody identify this chemical? Can anybody identify this chemical? H2H2O8. Yes. Can anybody identify this chemical? H2H2O8. You have studied this. You studied this in, we used it in electrochemistry, yeah? No. No. Ashutosh, partially correct. What's its name? Yes, Chinmay, you are right. I want to know its name. It is known as Marshall's acid. You go your redox chapter module, it is there in that. It is Marshall acid. There is something called Carrow's acid also. Carrow's acid is H2SO5. How do you get it? You take H2SO4, 2 molecules, and pass from H2O2 solution, you'll get this compound, right? So it is peroxo disulfate. When you pass this compound from Mn2+, so it's a redox reaction. Mn2+ will get oxidized to Mn plus 7, right? It will get oxidized to +7, whereas this sulfur here is +6. So +6 say it is going towards, I think it is +6 only. Just a minute. Yeah, it is still +6 only here. Right? So yeah, and what else is happening? Basically, you are releasing this, you're breaking this bond, peroxo disulfate bond. So basically, Mn2+ has been converted to Mn +7, right? In you can say acidic medium. Let us check the oxidation state. It is +6. It is +6. Yes. Which one is +7? Let us check again. it's -2, -2, -1, -1. No, it is +6. Adesh, how can it be +7? O5 ही लिखा ना मैं. Okay, sorry. O5 it is. Carros acid is H2SO5. Yes, Pritesh. So this is your reaction for preparation of your KMnO4. This is laboratory method for preparation of KMnO4, right? So again, there is nothing much you can do about it. You have to remember the reaction, right? All right. Now, industrial method, how do you prepare KMnO4? You take manganate ion, carry out the electrolytic oxidation. So on oxidation, manganate is +6. It will get converted into +7. You carry out the oxidation using electrolysis. Electrolysis means what? The reaction will happen at what? Anode. Because at anode, what happens? Oxidation happens at anode. Right? Oxidation happens at anode. So this is the industrial preparation of KMnO4. Now coming back to its properties. If you see the properties, it is dark purple. It is anhydrous, needle-like crystals. This is how your KMnO4 will look like. Now, what does its structure look like? So structure of KMnO4 is MnO4 minus. If you see MnO4 minus, it is Mn double bond O, double bond O, double bond O, O minus. So it has tetrahedral geometry. It has tetrahedral geometry, and again the hybridization is sd3, not sp3. Yes, this is your previous slides. If you want to take the screenshot, Saksha. And this is your another slide. And this is our current slide, right? So tetrahedral sd3. Now this is your geometry of this. Now let us see, and it is isostructural with KClO4. So KClO4 means ClO4 minus ion also has a similar geometry. ClO4 minus ion has a similar geometry, but the hybridization of ClO4 minus is sp3. It is not sd3, right? Now keep one thing in mind, how it is sd3. So please keep this in mind, how it is sd3. So let us take MnO4 minus. I'll try to explain you briefly. Can anybody tell me structure of, I'll come to that also. Just give me 1 minute, Ravi Kiran. Previous slide, yes. Let me draw the MnO4 2 minus structure also. This should be your structure of MnO4 2 minus. Right? Now, can you tell me the oxidation state of, Hina, I just went there only and came back. Is it done, Hina and Athar? Ha, Pritesh, I got your answer. So now done, right? Hina and Athar. So can anybody tell me what is the oxidation state of Mn in MnO4 minus? Very good, lot of answers. You can find it also. Oxidation state of manganese is X. Oxygen is -2. How many oxygen are there? 4. So 4 into -2 equal to total charge. What is the total charge? -1. So you can simplify this. You'll get X minus 8 is equals to -1. That is X is equals to +7. So manganese is +7. If you see this carefully, manganese ka what is the electronic configuration of manganese? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, then 3d5, 4s2. So we'll write only the last shell configuration. Alright, Pritish, dimag ghum gaya kya Pritish? It is 3d5, 4s2 manganese. Correct? Now what will be Mn +7? Manganese +7 means what? It has lost 7 electrons. So where it will lose those electrons? 2 electrons will be lost from 4s. 5 electrons will be lost from 3d. So its configuration will become 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. And 3d is empty. This is 3D empty. 4s is also empty. Right? 4s is also empty. Now what happens is if you take this manganese, right? If you take manganese plus 7. So if you take manganese plus 7 in MnO4 minus, there are 4 oxygen atoms, right? 3 are oxygen, normal oxygen, 1 is O minus, right? So what will happen is 4 oxygen will come with lone pairs. 3 normal oxygen, 1 O minus, 7 electrons. Correct? It will donate lone pair to empty d orbital. It will donate lone pair to empty d orbital. It will donate lone pair to empty d orbital. Then 1, 2, 4s. Correct? So first which orbital will be used? 4s, then 3d. For bonding, first 4s will be used. So now, do you observe which orbitals are used for making the coordinate bonds? S, and how many orbital of d? 3. So since you are using 3 orbitals of d and 1 orbital of s, therefore your hybridization comes out to be sd3, right? And in sd3, which d orbitals are participating here? Out of 5 d orbitals, it is dxy, dyz, and dzx, right? So this is how you explain sd3 hybridization in KMnO4, right? It is d, and this is also, you can see electrons are donated from oxygen to metal, and I told you the species which donate lone pair in coordination compounds are known as ligands, and acceptors are known as center metal atoms. So it is ligand to metal electron donation or charge transfer, therefore it is also called ligand to metal charge transfer. This is the reason for the color of KMnO4, right? What happens here is empty d, after forming plus 7, 3d and 4s are empty. So 4 oxygen will come. Out of 4 oxygen, 3 are normal oxygen, 1 is O minus. So 1, 2, 3 normal oxygen, 6 electrons, right? And 1 O minus, 7 electrons, right? 7 electrons. So this will donate lone pair to empty 4s. This will donate lone pair to 3d, 3d, 3d. So how many orbitals are used? 1 4s is used. 3 orbitals of 3d are used. Therefore, hybridization is sd3. 1 orbital of s, 3 orbitals of d, and what are those 3d orbitals? dxy, dyz, dzx. Right? What happens to the electrons of manganese? It is lost. It is lost. It is showing the oxidation state of plus 7. Manganese is present only as plus 7. Manganese was not present as Mn. Right? If I ask you NaCl is present, what happens to NaCl is still an ionic compound, right? If I give you what? Water. Water mein hydrogen is plus 1. What happens to electrons of hydrogen? Nothing, right? It is a oxidation state. So oxidation state means what? It is already present as Mn plus 7. After Mn plus 7 is formed, after 7 electrons are lost, Mn plus 7 is formed, then only oxygen are coming. It is not like oxygen came and took 7 electrons from Mn. No. Mn first lost 7 electrons, then O minus came and bonded with it. Right? Full form, ligand to metal charge transfer. I told you, right? The species in coordination compound which donate lone pair are called ligand, and the species which accept lone pair are called central metal atom. Since ligand are donating electron or charge to central metal atom, therefore you say ligand to metal charge transfer. This is the reason for color also. Ligand to metal charge transfer. Right? Is it compulsory that those 3d orbitals only should be involved in electron transfer? Yes, those 3d orbitals only should be involved in electron transfer, Meghna. Right? These d orbitals only participate in hybridization. All right. So yeah, let's move ahead. I hope we have taken the screenshot, guys. I hope you have taken the screenshot. All right. So the next property is it is moderately soluble in water. If you add KMNO4 to water, it will become slightly purple, but it will not be completely soluble. It is partially soluble in water, right? Next, on strong heating, this is again very important. On strong heating, KMNO4 liberates oxygen gas. On strong heating, KMNO4 liberates oxygen gas. Now, this is a very important factor. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you one very good statement. KMNO4 is non-combustible, but it is very good supporter of combustion. What is the meaning of it? This is a very important and star statement. What is the meaning of this statement? That means KMNO4 is not very highly combustible. That means you cannot burn KMNO4 easily. It requires a lot of temperature. As I said, right, on strong heating, you need very high temperature to burn KMNO4. So it is not easily combustible. Or you can say it is non-combustible. Combustible means which easily catches fire, right? Or you can say, if you don't like the word non, you can write less combustible, right? But it will help other substance to burn, right? For example, if you take oil and take KMNO4 and burn it, right? You don't even heat it. Just add oil to KMNO4, you'll see boom. You'll see fire. You'll see fire instantaneously. Because KMNO4 does what? KMNO4 liberates what? Oxygen gas. KMNO4 will react with oil, or it will in itself liberate oxygen gas. And oxygen gas, we know, is a very good supporter of combustion. So why? It's a very good supporter of combustion. Why KMNO4 is good supporter of combustion? Because it releases O2 gas, and O2 is a supporter of combustion, right? That is the main reason for this, right? So this is the major reason why you use this. I hope it is clear. Not only this, with carbon, with carbon dioxide, with SO2, with these compounds also it releases O2 gas, right? When you react it with these compounds, right? I hope it is clear. So it's not combustible, but it helps in combustion. This is very important part. Because you don't need so high temperature to dissociate K2Cr2O7. K2Cr2O7 itself will catch fire, right? Now, ions are tetrahedral. I have given you the structure of both, right? I have explained you the structure of both. Now, the most important part comes here. Very important. Manganate is paramagnetic, but permanganate is diamagnetic. What is manganate? Manganate is MnO4 2 minus. What is permanganate? MnO4 minus. What is the oxidation state? +6, +7. Manganese is 3d5,4s2. Mn plus 6 means remove 6 electrons. How many electrons will be left? 1 electron in 3d will be left. But Mn plus 7 is 3d 0. No unpaired electron. Therefore, permanganate is diamagnetic, whereas manganate is paramagnetic. So you can see Mn plus 6 has 1 unpaired electron, but Mn plus 7 has 0 unpaired electron. But still, it is purple color. It is diamagnetic. It should not be colored. It does not have unpaired electron, but still it is purple or pink color. Why? Why it is colored? It does not have any unpaired electron. It does not have any unpaired electron. Yes. So the reason I have given you charge transfer, LMCT, ligand to metal charge transfer. Very good. So remember this. Without being paramagnetic, it shows color because of charge transfer. Right? So let me, yeah. So we'll discuss the oxidizing properties tomorrow. For now, let me show you something. Right? I'll show you something before the quiz, because many of you are having doubts in the statement which I made. So let me show you that. First, let me do a quiz. I'll show you one video. Let me do a quiz. I'll show you one good video of that reaction which I was talking about. So this is your quiz of the day. You can see the 6 identities here, very famous identities, right? Personalities, celebrities, whatever you call. You have to connect them. They are connected through something. All of them are connected through something. How would you connect them? Please don't leave. I'll show you one video which will clear some of your doubts. Can anybody tell? Yes, Sanat is finally right. Very good, Sanat. So Sanat, all are Homo sapiens, of course, Pritesh. And Avinash is also right. Very good. Very good. Sanat and Avinash. Chalo, let me clear it. All of them were mentioned as champions in DJ Bravo song. If you remember, Bravo mentioned all of them as champions in his song. Right? So if you want to identify the people, this is Brian Lara, Nelson Mandela, Usain Bolt, Barack Obama, Serena Williams. This is Shelly Ann. She's a Jamaican athlete, 100-meter gold medalist. Right? So these are the, I didn't see the Samir, maybe it was late.